News: a chemical tanker in the Indian Ocean was hit by a drone launched from Iran yesterday. The US military has said fire on board the Chem Pluto was extinguished. There were no casualties. Iran has not commented though. Houthi rebels, remember, in Yemen, who are backed by Iran and support Hamas in its war with Israel, have recently used drones and rockets to target vessels in the Red Sea. The same company also said the vessel was heading from Saudi Arabia to India and was linked to Israel. The Houthis have claimed to be targeting Israel-linked vessels over the conflict in Gaza. The US has said the Chem Pluto was hit by a one-way attack drone fired from Iran. It's believed to be the first time the US has publicly accused Iran of targeting a ship directly. Now, in the most recent development, Indian Coast Guard ship Vikram is escorting the MV Chem Pluto, and they're expected to reach off Mumbai by tomorrow. ICGS Vikram has reached the distressed ship last evening itself and is moving in Indian waters at the moment. However, Iran's Revolutionary Guards have warned they could force the closure of waterways other than the Red Sea if America and its allies continue committing crimes in Gaza. Captain Shyam Kumar, Indian Navy Warship captain, joins us live. We also have Major General Dhruv Katoch, defense expert. Also with us is Madhav Nalapat, editorial director of the Sunday Guardian. Let me bring you in here, Captain Shyam Kumar, on what you make of this incident. How concerning is it?
Thank you. This is a very, very critical situation in Arabian Sea. Sea lanes of communication is very, very important for import and export of cargo. And as we know, this MV Chem Pluto was from UAE to Mangalore and bringing petroleum, which is very, very important for the country. As we know, 93% of our petroleum comes from the foreign countries, and it is the lifeline for any nation. Now, this in the shadow of Houthi attacking the USS warships in the Red Sea, the increase in drones attack on all other shipping lanes are a very, very cause of concern, because it is actually drawing attention of the world globe into this situation. So therefore, I think Indian Coast Guard and Indian Naval swift response as patrolling into the exclusive economic zone, and also the Indian Fusion Center of Indian Oceanic Region at Gurgaon has reacted very nicely. And as far as the initiative of our political will goes about Sagar concept of safety and security of all in the regions, this is an example of how we are going to escort the ship to Mumbai. INS Mormugao, a destroyer of Indian Navy, and P-8I surveillance aircraft is in touch, communicating with them. Coast Guard is escorting the ships. All the ships in the area are being checked by the Dornier and other aircrafts as whether the launch was from Iran long-range attack of drone or it was a launch from a nearby vessel. It is a very, very, very critical situation. And Indian Ocean and Arabian Sea needs to be sanitized by Indian Navy and Coast Guard elements, and all other mercantile must be kept safe. And therefore, I expect a proper countermeasures and more vigilance to be done as we have been doing in Indian Ocean. Over to you, Uday.
Yes, obviously the blame is clearly on Iran. That's what the US military has said. Do you believe this charge is fair, Madhav Nalapat? And interestingly, no response from Iran just yet.
Uday, I'd be very surprised if it is from Iran. Assuming that this drone came all the way from Iran, there are some areas in Iran that are under the control of Wahhabi rebels, frankly, who are totally opposed to the Shia clerical regime, the Khomeini's clerical regime, if I may point out, that is in power in Tehran. It could be that. The fact is that Iran is definitely not in a mood to pick a fight with India. There's no question about it. In fact, just about less than 30 hours ago, Iranians announced visa-free access to Iran for any citizen of India. Now, that's not an unfriendly gesture, frankly. So I would be very, very circumspect about pinning the blame on Iran. The United States, frankly, Israel as well, both of them are very keen, frankly, on involving Iran in some way. But the reality of the situation is, I don't think Iran has any intention of creating a problem with India. Nevertheless, the reality is that particular waterway is critically important for India. I fully agree with the mercantile specialist who spoke before me that we need to do everything possible, including perhaps quiet diplomacy, with certain groups in Yemen to ensure that that ships are not harmed in this manner. Because the fact is that where Hamas is concerned, the only hope for Hamas is to expand this war beyond the borders of Gaza and to expand the war beyond Israel into a much larger conflict. That would be a disaster for the world, but it might be a reprieve for Hamas, which is really being hammered to the ground by the Israeli Defense Forces. So frankly, it is very concerning, and I'm very certain that the government led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be taking every measure, whether it is in terms of ships, whether it's in terms of naval and air assets, or in terms of quiet diplomacy, to ensure the safety and security of shipping, especially shipping bound for India in those waters. It would be a catastrophe if that lifeline were closed, and it would be a catastrophe that would be of great benefit mainly to Hamas, which would thereby have succeeded in its mission of completely enlarging this conflict in such a way that the conflict in Gaza becomes of very secondary importance. Uday.
All right, let me quickly, in fact, also rope in Major General Katoch as well now into the conversation. Major General Katoch, your comments on on this charge leveled by the United States of America. How serious, how credible do you believe this allegation is, and also, what do you believe happened? What caused this, this fire in the first place?
Thank you, Uday. Well, let me give you my sense of the situation. Now, whether Iran did it or not, the question is still open. The US claims they did, but the US has its own interests. So now, whether Iran has done it or not, we don't know. But the point is, theoretically, let us say if Iran has done it, it is quite possible they weren't targeting a ship which is coming to India. Now, this is, when you are looking at ships, mercantile ships moving in the Indian Ocean region, there are hundreds of ships moving around at any one time. And I think it's very difficult to determine which ship belongs to whom. This particular ship was flying under the Liberia flag. It is owned by Japan. It is operated by the Netherlands. The crew, there were 20-member crew of India, and it was carrying Indian cargo. So, seeing the multi-nature handling of cargo as far as shipping is concerned makes it very difficult to say that the ship belongs to Israel or to anybody else. So, targeting of any ship, I feel, of any mercantile ship will be a gross violation and will harm every nation's interest as far as the shipping is concerned. Now, the second concern, which Professor Madhav Nalpat also mentioned, you see, if it's going to be a short duration conflict which takes place there, a month or say 2 weeks or something, and if the Americans and the Israelis attack Iran, and you can actually limit this conflict to a time period of a month or 2 weeks, then I think the situation can still be under control. But if it goes for an extended period of time, we cannot afford to have our shipping lanes closed for a longer extended period. And if Iran starts attacking the Saudis and the Saudis start retaliating, I think very hell is going to take place there. And India and China and all other importing countries who are dependent on the Gulf will be very, very severely impacted. Just as far as India is concerned, I think the threat is tremendous. It is much more than what Pakistan is doing, what the terrorists are doing, or what anybody else is doing here. This is the lifeline, and we cannot afford to let this lifeline go. So I think it behoves India and all other countries to get together and to ensure a repeat of this nature does not take place. And if Iran has done it, or the Houthis have done it on behalf of Iran, then I think there will be consequences. And the concerned country has to be told that you will have to bear the consequences. Uday.
Yes. Also now, how concerning is this for India? It's happening in our literally our backyard. We do know, of course, that the distressed ship was escorted The distressed vessel was escorted by our Indian Coast Guard ship, INS Vikram. How concerning should this be for India, and how do you view the Indian role in all of this as well? Professor Nalapat.
Uday, I'd like to say that so far as this particular area is concerned, first of all, India has got excellent relations with the countries in West Asia, excellent relations. And may I point out that Iran and Saudi Arabia have been coming closer to each other. They have been having multiple discussions with each other. And there is an effort to ensure that that entire area is freed of some of the intra-faith conflicts that were bedeviling it earlier. So the reality is that the people of that entire region, they are like the people of India, very young. And what do young people want? They want prosperity, they want jobs. And you can't get prosperity and jobs in an atmosphere of war or conflict. It has got to be a peaceful atmosphere. So in my view, India is very well positioned, both in the diplomatic side as well as in the military side. Now we are talking about the Quad, for example. I mean, these are 4 countries with very, very capable militaries. And in my personal view, I agree completely with what the General says. There needs to be severe consequences if this kind of activity continues. As far as Yemen is concerned, India has wisely taken a very standoff role. But the reality is an attack on a very crucial artery of shipping is an attack on India as well. And whoever is doing this particular attack, and given satellite tracking technology, given other means of finding out exactly the trajectory of that particular drone, I think it will not be a very difficult task to ascertain who has done it. I feel that certainly the most severe consequences will need to be planned on that particular entity in case this happens and it continues to recur, because absolutely right, this particular shipping lane should not under any circumstance be blocked by this kind of, if I may say so, reckless, indefensible action, such as trying to basically set ablaze a ship that is carrying cargo, which frankly is extremely dangerous in that condition. Uday.
Okay, let me in fact quickly take that across to Captain Shamkumar as well now on what has transpired in these waters. How concerning should it be for India looking ahead? Also, as I said, INS Vikram reaching the distressed vessel last evening, moving to Indian waters as we speak. Captain Sham?
Yeah. As you know, the incident has happened in the Indian exclusive economic zone, and about 200 nautical miles southwest of Verawal, that is Porbandar coast. And so it is completely Indian Navy and Indian Coast Guard's responsibility to maintain safety of and security of ships and freedom of navigation and keeping the sea lanes of communication open. And therefore, the continuous patrol in exclusive economic zone, which is 200 nautical miles, almost 370 kilometers beyond the coast of India, is a vast expanse of water, and it is very, very difficult to sanitize the entire oceanic regions of Indian peninsula. And therefore, our Dornier aircraft, our P-8I surveillance aircraft of Navy, Coast Guard, ships, etc., keep a whistle at sea for this reason. Navy being silent service, it is sometimes not known at what the role of the Navy is in the peacetime. And this is what is an example wherein we have swiftly gone near it. P-8I aircraft has established communication on the maritime channels. Ship's crew has been safe. Fire has been extinguished. INS Vikram has warned all the ships around to provide the help. Ships and other aircrafts which are around, or especially the merchant ships, are being checked. INS Mormugao, as I said, destroyer class ship has escorted it. It's reaching Mumbai. They're also checking up what kind of drone attack it could be. Whatever it is, whichever attack it is, it has definitely drawn attention of the world and obviously affects Indian territorial integrity, and it is attack on that. However, with the major response, Indian government will react and do the needful. The question is the Sagar initiative, the Indian fusion center at Gurgaon, which is looking at almost entire Indian Ocean region for maritime communications, safety and security, and the Indian Maritime Coordination Center at Mumbai, run by the Navy and Coast Guard. These are the agencies which must be strengthened. They are already, but the IFC, which I am talking about, has 40 international maritime liaison officers. It was established in 2018, and all the countries are sharing intelligence to help each other. This would be much more ready with all infrastructure by 2025 to 26. And with these initiatives, India would be playing a greater role in Indian Oceanic region. There are other regions for, the pirates attacks, the other aspect like Gulf of Guinea, the Horn of Africa, the Southeast Malacca Strait. And Indian Navy, as warship captain, I have been patrolling in these areas. I have done the visit, board, search and seizure operations of these merchant ships for carrying contraband items, etc., fishing, anti-poaching, smuggling roles. And this is a new asymmetric warfare in which one-way drone attack has been carried out. Very difficult to know, predict or find, because drones are such offensive weapons which are difficult to be detected, or even merchant ships are helpless. So every merchant ship cannot be spotted. We need to have now new tactics, new strategy to thwart such attempts, and definitely military, diplomatic and silent channels. All this must be used to stop such happenings in our region. Over to you, Uday.
All right, let me, take that back across to Major Katoch. On the way ahead now, Major Katoch, because obviously this episode is finished. The war of words continues. The charge versus counter-charge continues. Iran's Revolutionary Guards, meanwhile, also issuing a stern warning, saying that there will be closure of waterways other than the Red Sea if America and its allies, quote-unquote, in their words, continue committing crimes in Gaza and elsewhere.
Uday, I don't think Iran is going to sort of get hyperactive on the crimes, so-called crimes committed in Gaza. But they will certainly get hyperactive if Iran is attacked by Israel or by the United States, or if any attempt is made to take out their nuclear facilities. Then I think, while I agree with Professor Madhav Nalpat that the Saudis and Iranians, they are talking to each other. But the question is, when Iran has been put down by Israel and the United States, they are going to lash out. And they will lash out at the Saudis because the oil is controlled there. So there will be an oil war by which each other's oil facilities will be targeted. Now we have seen the impact which took place when the when Aramco was attacked, which led to a closure of 50% of their oil output for about a month or so. Now, if this continues between Iran and Saudi Arabia, I think we are looking at a very, very dangerous situation, because even when the war is over, those lanes are going to be blocked for a very, very long period of time. That is the danger. Now, the question is, how do you stop it? Stopping a drone attack, I think, is going to be very difficult. So even if you have a cargo ship being escorted, I'm not sure if they have the capacity to hit a drone which is on a suicide mission. I mean, will the ships have that capability to take out a small little object, which is the drone, which can come suddenly? Israel can do it because they have got the Iron Dome, and it's a fixed location. But ships are mobile. And in this particular case, it is a mobile ship which is moving with hundreds of other ships around. So why was this ship targeted? Was it a wrong targeting by the host country? And this cannot be attributed to any individual terrorist organization. It requires the backup of a country. Tremendous amount of intelligence goes into locating where the ships are and into sending a drone to attack it. So I think it's going to be a very, very complicated issue. A defense against this can only be through ensuring that the countries which are engaging in such type of warfare are punished to such an extent that they will be deterred from using this method. Other than that, I think it's going to be very, very difficult. And I predict that if it continues, there will be difficult times ahead.
Yes. Okay. Well, my thanks to all of our guests for joining us on this discussion.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.